So this is practice problem 6, lesson 9.3, part C. So we've got 4x squared minus 2x is equal to 6. And what we need to do first of all, of course, is get this set equal to 0. So this is going to be 4x squared minus 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. So now what we need to do is come in here and identify our a, b, and c. We see a is 4, b is -2, and c is -6. So that tells us, plugging those into the quadratic formula, that x is going to be equal to the opposite of -2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is going to be -2 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is -6, all over 2 times a, which is going to be 2 times 4. Okay, so for many folks, just to remind you of this, many folks, the part of these problems that causes them headaches is the part under the square root. That is this piece right here. So strongly recommend that you let your calculator take the hit for you on that. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get our calculator up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in and go, okay, well, let's see, parentheses, -2, close parentheses, squared, subtract 4, and then you can do it instead of using multiplication symbols. You can make it look just like it looks on your paper by using copious amounts of parentheses. And for a lot of folks, that really helps them get the correct number, okay? So I plug that all in, and I get back 100, all right? So like I said, computationally, that is the hardest part of these problems, is putting in correctly the part under the square root. I think it's a name, by the way, that's called the discriminant. Okay, so the opposite of -2 is 2. So that's 2 plus or minus the square root of 100 all over 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay, I'm going to move over here to this side because I'm kind of running out of room. So square root of 100 is 10. So that's going to tell me that x1 is equal to 2 plus 10, that's what's the square root of 100, divided by 8. And my x2 will be equal to 2 minus 10 over the square root of 8. Again, when you're doing the practice quizzes and the module quiz, be careful about the x1, x2. Read the instructions carefully. If you swap those out in the order, the problem will mark them wrong, okay? Make sure you read the instructions of how they want you to input the answer. Okay, so we get 2 plus 10. That gets me back 12/8. All right, so if we simplify 12/8, there's a common factor of 4 in the numerator and the denominator, and that's going to give us back 3/2. For x2, we're going to get 2 minus 10, which is going to give me back a -8. -8 divided by 8 is going to get me back a -1. So those are my two solutions done algebraically. We're asked to check our solutions with the calculator, so let's go ahead and do that. So going back to the calculator here, go to the y equals, we'll enter our 4x squared minus 2x minus 6. Again, if you put an equals 0 into y2, you can use the intersection routine versus the 0 routine. I'll go ahead and do one of each. How about that? Just to remind you how to do it. So let's go ahead and do 2 to get the 0 routine. So the left endpoint, which means you have to be somewhere to the left of where it crosses the x-axis, hit an enter. Right endpoint says I need to be someplace to the right of it, hit an enter. Hit my best guess, hit an enter, and bada bing, bada boom, there's my -1. Okay, let's go see about finding this one over here. So we'll go second, calc number 5 this time for intersect. And we're going to go first curve, second curve, best guess. And so the guess part means I need to get the little Frogger guy over to the root I want. Hit an enter, and 1.5, which is 3/2. So I verified that I got the solution correct algebraically and graphically. That's huge. Do it both ways, and chances are you're going to get it right one way or the other, right? But the basic idea is if they agree, then you know you're pretty much guaranteed that you got it correct. Okay, so that's x, that's y. I went from -10 to 10 again, -10 to 10. Good idea always to put your scaling on your axes. So let's see, graph looks not quite unlike, but similar to that. And we've got 2 points of intersection here. So the first one over here was at x equal to -1. And then over here we got x was equal to 1.5. Oh, kind of forgot back up here to go mark my two intersection points up here. I know they were ugly, but we could have still done that, right? We could have gone over here. This was 5 minus the square root of 57 over 4. And over here it was 5 plus the square root of 57 over 4. Okay? All right, so that's good enough for this one. We'll come back and do D here in just a moment. I'll break them up into one problem per video.